yeah. נערים ודורשים בהלכות פסח קודם החג 30 יום. That means you have to start learning Hilchot Pesach 30 days before Pesach. Okay. Now, first we're already late because we don't even have 30 days. We basically have 21 days, and it's already going to be B'dikat Chametz in 21 days. So, which means gives us this shiur, and maybe we'll get another 3 shiurim if we can squeeze it in. And we've got a lot to do. Hilchot of B'dikat Chametz, Achsharat Kelim and Agalat Kelim, which things are kosher for Pesach, not kosher for Pesach, and Hilchot Leil HaSeder. And apart from a normal year, I mean, this is more than in Shulchan Aruch, that you're supposed to learn this Chag Pesach because I have so many halachot in Hilchot Matzah and Hilchot Leil HaSeder. But this year, it makes it more complicated. Because this year, Erev Pesach is Shabbat. And that just makes a big mess out of everything. Because how are you supposed to do Biur Chametz on Shabbat? How are you supposed to do Sudat Shabbat if you got Chametz? How are you supposed to sell Chametz if you're supposed to have Suda on Shabbat? So
it's not Motzei Shabbat. It's Friday evening.
No. So this year, Leil HaSeder is Motzei Shabbat. So we want to try and cover today a little bit about what halachot is. And let me just explain what's going to happen on Pesach. Normally you have Tanit Bechorot is on Erev Pesach. This year Motzei Shabbat is going to be Leil HaSeder. So how are you going to prepare for Leil HaSeder if you got Shabbat? It's got to be done beforehand, right? Now we know on a normal Erev Pesach, you're supposed to eat Chametz in the morning till 10:30. And you're supposed to have Sudat Shabbat in the morning and Sudat Shabbat in the afternoon, Sudat Shlishit. And you're supposed to have bread. But you can't have bread. And also you can't have matzah. Because you're not allowed to have matzah on Erev Pesach. So what do? Now you got to get all your house kasha ready for Pesach the day before. So they're all the day before, and you've got to have chametz. How are you supposed to do it? How are you supposed to have your suda? And how do you do biur chametz? Biur chametz, how do you do biur chametz every year? So either you do biur chametz, you do srefat chametz. Obviously you can't do that on Erev Shabbat. On Shabbat you can't do srefat chametz. And what do you do with the bracha? Tanit Bechorot. What do you do about Tanit Bechorot? So I'm going to just get a drink of water and we're going to continue the halachot. And I want everyone to be involved and ask questions because this is it's very important to get the halachot clear, to do everything kasher tzivah Hashem. Okay? You can wing it and you can try and decide, ask on the day, ask somebody religious, what are you supposed to do? But if you can't organize, you know things beforehand, you're very calm and you relax the best. So I'm going to do these halachot first, and then after we're going to do the regular halachot. So first thing we'll do is, okay. Is everyone going to be in the house for Pesach this year, or is anyone leaving? Just to serve.
We're all in lockdown.
Where everyone's in lockdown? No one's flying, no one's going away? Okay, so that just saves us a lot of halachot. Just because. So you got to do when do you do b'dikat chametz? So like I said, b'dikat chametz is going to be tonight, in 21 days, in 3 weeks' time, Thursday night, because Thursday night is going to be. Normally we do it Yud Gimel, but because we on the night of Yud Gimel, because this year it's going to be Shabbat, so we do it on Thursday night before. When is it going to be Tanit Bechorot? Anyone's a Bechor? Me? Anyone else?
Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
Who else is Bechor? Meir and Gilad and me. So Bechoras are very special people, very special. And when the Beit Mikdash comes, we get part of the Kuna because every family has one member in the serving of the Beit Mikdash. Bechorit need to fast every year on Erev Pesach. However, we have a minhag that to do Siur Mesechet or Sodat Mitzvah, or to participate in. This year, because it's Shabbat, so there's 2 opinions. Opinion number 1 is when is Tanit Bechorot? Obviously not on Shabbat, right?
So it's on Friday?
So no Friday. There's one opinion that you bring it to Thursday. Don't fast on Erev Shabbat on Thursday. That's one opinion. Second opinion is that it's such a light fast that if it falls on Shabbat, you don't need to fast at all.
If you have to have a sealed-up mitzvah, wouldn't Shabbat lunch count as a sealed-up mitzvah?
Okay, so that's why this year there is opinions brought down that you don't need to fast at all. Because of that reason, Shabbat, that it's on Shabbat, we don't move it. There is enough of a mitzvah. And even on Thursday, you don't need to fast. And according to Rabbi Vadia, Chidush, that is l'ikar halacha. There's no need to fast on Tanit B'chorot when it falls on אין צורך להתענות כלל. And in the Shulchan Aruch פסק כדעה אחרונה להקל. However, he said even if on Thursday, if you can, try and be part of a Seudat Mitzvah. Brit Milah or Pidyon HaBen or Chatan V'Kala or on Zoom or any kind of siyum, that's fine. He said women who are B'chorot don't need to fast. If you have a son, and Joe, this applies to you as well because Benji is a B'chor. So on the normal year, so the father has participated in either normally in a siyum masechet, but this year he doesn't need to do that as well because it falls on Shabbat and like the Sfarah of Omeir said. So that's the first thing. Make sure it much easier. So if you can do Seudat Mitzvah on Thursday, if not, then you don't need to fast according to Shulchan Aruch, according to Rabbi Vadia. What about Bdikat Chametz? So Bdikat Chametz needs to be done at the night time. So maybe just talk about a little bit of the Bdikat Chametz, and then we'll do just 10 minutes Halacha. How are you supposed to do to Bdikat Chametz? What do you need to check? So a lot of people do spring cleaning and cleaning the house, which is good. I'm very positive for cleaning out the house. Some people also do KonMari. They take out all the excess old things in the house and make new. And there is actually an inyan to be mechadesh things in Chodesh Nisan. Chodesh Nisan is Chodesh Hitchadshut, to buy new things. Even new kelim. A lot of people buy new kelim for Pesach and then have it for the whole year, or new furniture, or new things. And part of the Hitchadshut in Nisan starts from the Birkat Eilanot, because you see the trees rebirth. And part of the message that is for us is to renew ourselves. It's Hitchadshut of the Maasim. It's part of Teshuvah. I'm coming clean, I'm renewing myself, I'm buying new clothes for Chag, new furniture for Chag. So that's good, I'm for that. But whereas part of, when it comes to Bdikat Chametz, Bdikat Chametz doesn't mean take out the old clothes that you don't wear anymore, your old shoes. Yeah, that's not Bdikat Chametz. But you have to check everywhere. Where do you have to check? Everywhere where there is likely to be Chametz. So that means all the rooms of your house, especially if you have children which get food everywhere. So behind furniture, underneath closets, or wherever you have where food can get to. Also in the closets, in bags. Check bags, especially school bags or food bags, everything can be there. Everything needs to be checked. Car needs to be checked. What about garden? Does garden need to be checked? Or what if you have a balcony? Balcony needs to be checked. Car park needs to be checked.
It's your property. It's
private,
right?
This is your private property, private car park. Your car park's there. Sometimes you eat in the car, you eat out the car, on the way to the car. So this is actually brought down Halacha in Shulchan Aruch, yeah? And he says that when there's a place that the birds are there, you got birds, you got pigeons, and they eat every little peckle of crumbs. So if you have a garden or a car park, so if it's open roof, that means it's open. That's the Rabbi Shlomo Zalman says this is a chiluk. Then you don't need to check. But if it's a closed roof, okay, sometimes you have a closed car park, and that's your private place, and you use it for other things as well. Then you need to check that room as well. That if you have like a garage, yeah, that needs to be checked as well, especially if you eat there. So you do it one day. Obviously, you don't do it on the night of Bdikat Chametz. Beforehand, you check it and then you keep it clean. You know, this is kosher for Pesach, and you don't need to go anymore. But what if you had a barbecue in the garden, and you know there's pitot and rolls and people, and for sure there's chametz there. If you know there's for sure chametz, then you need to make sure that obviously that you're checking that properly. So it's good to have an overlook to see if there's anything. There is checking for chametz. the bdika chometz on Erev Pesach needs to be done. And it's just, okay, there's just a few short halachot about it. When is the time for bdikat chametz? As soon as it gets dark, that's the time to start bdikat chametz. Not even allowed to learn Torah, and according to some opinions, before you even pray Arvit. But according to Halacha, you pray Arvit, and then straight away you do bdikat chametz. And you're not allowed to have a meal, not to eat. You can drink, you can have fruit, even have a little bit of mezonot. But your meal should be only after you do bdikat chametz. And bdikat chametz
in the evening.
In the evening and night, after tefillat Arvit. Yeah, you can eat during the day, and even during the night, you can have a drink of coffee, but you should make sure you call all the people out of the house. After the house has been cleaned, you do, if you're in Israel, you do a final sponja, or in England, you do your vacuum. You final clean, your kitchen's all clean and you're all set. This is already Thursday night. Some people already start cooking for Pesach even already before that, where the kitchen's already kasher on Wednesday. But the mitzvah of the bdika, you've got all your leftover chametz is in one place, in one box, in one corner. That's the only chametz you have. Then you do the bdika. How do you do the bdika properly? So there's a big minhag which is brought down only from the Arizal of asara ptitim. That you take 10 pieces of chametz, small ones, less than a shiur of kazait, and you wrap them up in paper, and that's going to be wrapped up for your bdikat chametz. Now, what do? You take 10 of them and you put them in the bowl, and you go with a candle. You take a candle, not a torch, okay? And you keep the light on. Now, there's differences between minhagim of Ashkenazim and Sfaradim. Ashkenazim say you're allowed to take a torch, okay? But according to Sfaradim, you don't take a torch. Unless you don't have a candle, then you're allowed to take a torch. And even if you do that, according to some people, then you're not even allowed to make a bracha. Why are you laughing, Gilad?
No, who has a torch this day? It's just
torch.
that.
No, everyone has on their phone a torch. Everybody.
Okay, sorry. I was thinking about like a torch, like okay.
No, okay, that's what I was saying. A flashlight. That's what I say in English. We say torch, but a flashlight. That's what I meant. An electric light, a flashlight, on your phone.
Why does Father have to use a candle? So
even according to everyone, it's supposed to use a candle. There's just halacha if you're allowed to use an electric one or not. A candle is the most authentic way, and you're supposed to see in every corner. You're supposed to go down to the floor and check in between.
You might argue that wouldn't a flashlight help you find chametz easier?
Okay, so that's it. The light needs to be on, according to the.
But Rabbi Netanel, I missed. So you take 10 pieces. So yes. That's the minhag we do today, and you spread them in the house.
Okay, so then you are members there. You put it in each part of each rooms of the house. Either you tell your wife to do it or your children to do it, and you make sure you remember where they put it. And then you go on a search to find them. Now, you're not actually looking to find what they hide. And please explain why you're laughing. I didn't even make a joke.
Because every year we hide 10, and we find ourselves with 9, and then spending an hour looking for the 10th one.
Okay.
It's like
so what's the halacha?
Always, yes.
So it's very important to do this, okay? It's good you're doing that. But the halacha is that if you make them smaller than a kazait, and they're wrapped, so if you don't find one, one time I spent more than an hour, maybe 2 or 3 hours. It was 11 o'clock. I hadn't eaten. I was hungry. I was tired from not sleeping. I'm saying I almost cried that I didn't find that chametz. Yeah, and maybe I did cry, and I just went to bed hungry, and I gave up because I didn't find it. And I felt so bad.
You find it eventually?
I went to my house. No, I literally cried. I went to bed crying that I didn't find my chametz. And then my wife came to me and she said, Netanel, I found it. Yeah. And then I got up and I was like, oh, thank you so much. And I had the food and I ate. But the halacha is actually, if the piece is smaller than kazait, then you don't need to go to bed crying. Yeah, it's fine. Why? Because you do bitul chametz the next day. It doesn't have a shiur of kazait, and you're not mechuyav to levaer oto, and you have bitul the next day. Bitul means you annul it. It means I have nothing. I don't care about this chametz. Even if I find I'm not going to eat it, I'm going to chuck it in the bin. So it's not even called that it's part of yours. But I'm not saying you shouldn't look for it. You look for it, and if you have an hour, to look for it, you find other chametz, and always find something, even though they always clean the house, everything very good, but you miss something. And even if you don't, there's a significance to it. So that you all do on Thursday night. When do you do the bi'ur chametz?
Sorry. Oh, one more question, Rabbi.
Please ask.
The people who are hiding, do they have to like really dafka hide it properly, or can they just like stick in the corner of the room and it's easy to find?
Yeah. So I always tell my children, okay, this is, the object of it is not make the daddy find, make it difficult for that, So I tell them, don't put it like under a pillow, and don't put it inside a pocket of a jacket inside the cupboard, You put it in the corner, you put it under the table, or you put it under the drawers. Put it under the floor where it's visible to see with the candle. Now you can make it tight in the corner, or under a chair, or on the shelf, or on the table. But the purpose for it is just to make you look with the candle. The main checks of the chametz is supposed to be done beforehand. When you're checking the pockets of all the clothes, whatever happened has pockets. Okay, obviously jackets, maybe you stick there a biscuit, or you stick there some chocolate. That could be that needs to be cleaned, or a bag. But normal things that don't be checked. There's nothing to be checked in the shirt pocket. Shirt pocket, I put it in the washing machine, and there's no chametz in it. I don't have to check my shirt pockets. So that is what you need to know. I hope that has answered your question. So you do the 10 people. The Ben Ish Chai also says to add some salt into the 10 balls. Then you keep those 10, and you keep it for the next day. You do a bracha. There's a machloket about shechianu. Should you say shechianu or not? And according to Rabbi Ovadia, you should have something else to say shechianu, or on the fruit, or on the beged. And then you say the bracha of the b'dika, and then bracha of shechianu on new clothes. The next day, even the next day is not Erev Pesach, it's Friday. There's actually a machloket. When should you do bi'ur chametz? On the Shabbat or on Friday? So here's machloket between Sfaradim and Ashkenazim. Okay, because Ashkenazim will tell you to do it on the Friday, on Shabbat. And in a way, it makes sense, because you're supposed to eat chametz on Shabbat. You're supposed to have Suda. But if you're making sorry?
It's mekalkel, no? Isn't it?
What's mekalkel? Destroying what? There's no issur mekalkel.
No?
No.
On bread?
No issur. What is it? To destroy bread?
Yeah.
Well, and if it's not Shabbat, you're allowed to destroy bread? You're not allowed to destroy bread.
No, on Shabbat. On Shabbat.
On a weekday.
Yeah.
No, there's no issur on Shabbat to destroy bread. There's an issur on the weekday of Bat Yashchit to destroy bread. But when the bread is chametz and it's issur, then it's a mitzvah to destroy it. It's not issur to destroy it. And that mitzvah happens to Shabbat as well. And according to the Rama, you destroy it on Shabbat. After the zman of issur chametz, you destroy the chametz. According to Sfaradim, and this is actually from the Gemara, Mishnah says, on Yudalet Shechal b'Shabbat, like this year, na'averin hakol lifnei Shabbat, masharim mazon l'shnei seudot, which means you leave behind the 2 seudot of chametz for Shabbat. Now let's explain.
Even for Shabbat b'tzoraim?
Yeah, now I want to explain this clearly, because I don't want everyone to get confused. This is very important halachot. According to the Rama, the Ashkenazim, you mevatel the chametz on Shabbat with the bracha, according to the Mishnah Berurah. According to the Shulchan Aruch and according to Rabbi Ovadia, the bi'ur chametz rule is done on Friday. Why? Like every year that it's done on Friday, on Erev Shabbat, where you burn it and you do the bitul, you do it before Chatzot, like every other year. Because if you don't do it then, it's confusing people. You get confused. Hey, how come we're doing it after Chatzot, before Chatzot? You do it on the Friday beforehand.
I don't understand. I missed it. The bdikat chametz is on Thursday night.
Thursday night is the bdikat chametz. Srefat chametz is going to be on Erev Shabbat itself.
Before Shabbat.
Before Shabbat, before Chatzot. Apart from 2 seudot. Now let me explain what happens.
What do you mean before Chatzot? I don't understand.
I'll explain. Every year, when do you do your bi'ur chametz? You do there's this man of issur achilat chametz and the soft man of bi'ur chametz. So the same thing is also going to be on the Friday.
Yeah, you're burning it. You're burning it in the morning.
Yeah, but when?
Before 10:30 or 11.
Yeah, why? But Erev Pesach is only the next day.
No, in the evening of Pesach. But this year. You mean.
This year. They're talking about only this year.
How can you do it on Shabbat? How can you burn something on Shabbat?
How can you burn on Shabbat? So you can't burn on Shabbat, but you can throw it away. You can throw it in the bin. You can flush it in the toilet. You can put bleach on it. There's other ways to do it. That's the minhag Ashkenazi. The minhag is for them to do all the biur on Erev Pesach of the bedikat chametz. So the bedikat is done on Thursday night with a candle. You're allowed to use a flashlight, but it's better not to use it. And then you'd say the kol chamiyad ikabishuti de la chazite u de la biarte. You say that I'm annulling all my chametz which I have, apart from what I want to eat on Shabbat, and you leave that in a special corner. Now, if you have, like in Israel, merpeset, so it's good to have your Seudat Shabbat on a merpeset. If you have a balcony. If you have a house, and you have to have all your Seudat at home, what do you do? Now, this is very careful, very important. Everything is kasher on Thursday. That means everything is kasher like Pesach. There's nothing which is chametz in the house. All the food is ready for Pesach. You have to prepare Leil Seder beforehand, Erev Pesach. All your matzah, maror, everything ready for Pesach. Apart from, let's say, you have one bag closed with some pitot. Pitot for chametz that you can do hamotzi on them. And then what do? You have you eat on plastic. You eat plastic, and then you serve everything in the kitchen onto the plastic or serving dishes, which is all the food is kasher Pesach, and then you bring it to the table. Whatever's left in the kitchen goes back to the fridge, and that's kasher Pesach. What goes to the table does not come back into the kitchen. You eat on the table. You do hamotzi with your pita, because why do I say not lachmaniya? If you take bread makes crumbs. Crumbs is going to make mess. Mess is going to be chametz. You don't want to get involved. Pita, you can just have a kazait of pita bread. You with me, Joe?
Yes.
But
you can you eat your kazait 1 second, and you have it with your ever salatim, and you finish your kazait, and then you have a normal Shabbat meal with all food which is kasher Pesach. Your vegetables, your rice, your chicken, your meat, your salad, everything. Whatever's left over on the table, don't bring it back into the kitchen because you had it with your chametz. You wrap it up, all the plastic, everything goes into the bin. That's Sudan number 1. Is that clear? Any questions?
Aren't we obliged to eat at least bitzah on Shabbat?
Yes, thank you for that correction. So Gilad corrected me. Kazait is not enough. For Seudat Shabbat, it needs to be kibetza. What is the amount of a kibetza? 54 grams, yeah. 54 grams, it's basically half a pita bread is enough. So if you got 4 people at the table, 2 pitas is enough. That's all you need. That's all you need for the soda, for the first soda. Is that clear? So far we're good?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, Mo, I need everyone. Don't say yeah if you don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I mean, there's not a problem with having color rolls, is there? It's just
no, it's not a problem with having rolls.
Yeah,
you just got to be careful. Be careful how to clear up. You have to make sure everyone, listen, if you've got children and you're having rolls, so he said everyone has their roll or their half a roll, and you eat only on the tablecloth. And it's best to eat it first, that roll. You ate your 54 grams, your half a roll, and then you're done. Then have your meal. Everything that's on the table, the plastic, the cutlery, the plates, everything's left. You wrap it all up and all goes into the bin. Don't start putting back anything into the kitchen because you've got chametz there. Everything in your kitchen is kasher for Pesach. You're only eating chametz on the table, and it's only kept in a bag just for when you're opening it. You do a motzi and then you put it in the bin. That's the first soda. That's easy. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, you good with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do in the morning? Soda, second soda is a bit more complicated.
But second soda, Rabbi, second soda is after 11:30.
Okay,
usually.
so that's the first complication.
You can do it early.
You have to, you've got a deadline. So for all those who like sleeping in on Shabbat, you can enjoy that for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But on Erev Pesach, you have to wake up.
No, but
early.
how can you? In London, it's Zman Tefillah at 10:30.
Okay.
You need to
So soft Zman Tefillah is 10:30, but you can start davening earlier. And this is the one time you need to daven.
Postman Tefillah already is 10:20 today. So by then it's going to be closer to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yes, about what time? Don't look at when you stop praying. When do you start praying? You have to wake up early and pray by nets. Okay, so nets, if you daven nets, you can finish praying by already 8-9 o'clock.
Nets that day. Nets now today is around 6:30.
6:30. So you finish praying by 7-8 o'clock, and then you have your breakfast. That's going to be a breakfast seudah. So it's going to be the same thing as a night, but it has to be very early in the morning. You can have it 8 or 9 o'clock. You make kiddush, and then again everything plastic, and then again you have your rolls, your pita bread, enough for a kibetza, and then you make sure you finish before the zman of biur chametz. When you finished, again you wrap up and you put everything in the bin, and then you say kol chamira, because you have to say the biur chametz. That's your mitzvah Erev Pesach to do kol chamira deikab ishuti. So if you get organized beforehand, everything's smooth and easy.
So Rabbi Netanel, so you burn the chametz on Shabbat on Friday evening, without saying kol chamira decha.
Very good. Very good, Gilad. Very good. You don't say the chamira on a Friday. You just burn it for the mitzvah of biur chametz, and you say it on the Shabbat. And the Ashkenazim, they do everything on the Shabbat. After their Seudah, then they do their biur chametz with bleach or in the toilet, obviously not with fire, and then they say kol chamira. So you got to get organized to do everything in the morning and to burn it in the morning. To wake up early.
No, it's not sorry, it's not Iruf, it's a full. No, it's okay.
So you wake up early, you do your tefillah, you do your Sudat mitzvah of Shabbat. Maybe you're not going to have chamin, but you can maybe do milky in the mornings if you want to have an early breakfast. And then you got to finish by before the time of 10:30, whenever the time is.
You can't say that to Moroccans.
Well, what can you say to Moroccan?
Milky meal.
Okay, so you can have meat. You can have your meat. That's fine. But you got to make sure everything is kosher at Pesach. The only thing which is chametz is the actual bread itself.
I heard people saying that if you wrap it and then you stick it in your bin, you still own it.
So that's very good. So you don't stick it in your bin in your kitchen. You stick it in the bin, which is outside in the street, which belongs to the council.
Bin.
Council bin, and you say your kol chamira.
You ask your neighbor if you have a non-Jewish neighbor. That's it.
Yes, you can give it to a goy. Yeah, if you're a non-Jewish neighbor, you can give it to a goy as well.
But the mechira, when you do mechira gil.
Very good. So what about selling your chametz? Joe, do you have any questions, Joe?
No, I missed a bit, but I'm following.
So Gilad asked, what about selling your chametz? How can you sell your chametz before Shabbat if you need to eat the chametz on Shabbat? So very good. So there, what you do is you selling all your chametz, your whiskeys and your chametz which you want to sell, apart from, and you have to specify the food which you're eating for Shabbat. In one place, in a bag or in a box, which you know about, which is sealed. That's what you have to do.
We need to tell Mr. Baker that they need pitot that
that doesn't make crumble and mess. Yeah, fine. Suda Shlishit. Do we have time to do Suda Shlishit, or if we leave that for next week?
No. At least, sorry, I can.
Okay, so we're going to quickly do Suda Shlishit. Is complicated. Why? Because first of all, you're not allowed to eat chametz.
No matzah.
And you're not allowed to eat matzah. So what do you do? So there's 5 options. 5 options in the different Postgame, and I'm going to tell you just what they are. What's possible to do it.
And you can do, and you cannot do it before mincha. Mincha is after the time. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Mincha is after the time. So what do you do? And also, you're not allowed to eat. Also, you're not allowed to eat on Erev Pesach samuch after Shah Sirit. So it has to be done before Shah Sirit. So you've got to do your first Suda, like they say, by latest 9 o'clock to finish by 10. And then the next Suda is going to be done like by 2 o'clock. So how do you do it? So one way is to just do it with fruits. Fruit Suda Shlishit. Okay? Or Basar Vedagim, because that you're allowed to eat. We're not doing on Motzi. Or there's another 3 possibilities. One of them is called the Mishnah Berurah brings it down, of tafshil mezonot, which means knei delach. Knei delach is mezonot. On the one hand, it's not hamotzi, but it's mezonot, which is at least better than having fish or fruit, because it's more of a suda. But it's not matzah, and it's not hamotzi, so that's fine.
But it's chametz knei delach.
No, so knei delach, it depends. You make it from matzah meal, it can be kasher lePesach as well. If you use flour, then it's chametz. If you make it from matzah meal, is that? Or anything.
But if you can do matzah bride, for example.
Yes, so very good. So matzah bride, according to the Chayadaman, also Rabbi Vadia, he said matzah bride is a very good solution. Why? Because matzah bride is made from fried matzah. That's basically the same thing as the knei delach. You're just taking matzah and you're cooking it and you're frying it. So on one hand, it's not matzah, because you can't be yotzeh mitzvot of matzah, it doesn't have the taste of matzah. And it's not chametz. So that's fine. Otherwise, you do matzah ashira. Matzah ashira is use egg matzah, or matzah which is matzah ashira.
The pradama. Yeah.
No, not the pradama. Matzah ashira is flour and wine, or flour and fruit juice, or flour and eggs, or flour and oil. That's called matzah ashira. It's called rich matzah, because matzah only has to be red flour and water. So like biscuits, which can be a kasher Pesach biscuits.
Have a kazayat or have enough to do to bed?
So very good.
No, how can you do? You cannot do
you
cannot do mutzi on it.
We want to save some room there.
So wait a second. So okay, let me get this clear. If you're doing matzah brai or knei delach or matzah ashira, it's going to be mezonot. The only way to do hamotzi is the following. According to the Gaon Mevilna, you do Sudah Shlishit before Mincha early in the morning, before with hamotzi with actual chametz. That's according to the Gaon Mevilna, but it doesn't fulfill the Arizal, because according to the Arizal, you need to do Sudah Shlishit after Mincha. According to Rabbi Vadia, there's a way you can do hamotzi on matzah if you fry the matzah. Not matzah brai. Matzah brai is you crumble the matzah. If you crumble it, then it doesn't have a tzurat pat, which means it doesn't look like a bread, doesn't have the shape of a bread. So you can't do hamotzi on it, it has to be mezonot. But if you keep the matzah shalem, whole, and you just fry it, or just cook it, and it absorbs different taste, so it doesn't have the taste of matzah, which means you're going to be allowed to eat it, and it still has the bracha of hamotzi. So according to the Rabbi Vadia, the best thing to do is Thursday, after you've done your b'dikat chametz, you go into your kitchen and you start frying matzot. That's going to be your hamotzi for Sudah Shlishit. That way you still do hamotzi. It's not chametz and it's not matzah, and you all of the else. Okay? Yeah, and it's best to make it even flavored there, hamotzi. Add some dinner spices and add shemen and fry in eggs, but keep it shalem. Fine. So there's a lot to prepare. B'ezrat Hashem, next week we'll do more halachot of b'dikat chametz and hachsharat kelim, things that we were to buy for Pesach, things which are considered Pesach, and maybe do another shiur also for Leila Seder. I hope you enjoyed the shiur tonight.
Amazing.
Thank you all for joining me.
Thank you.
Wish you all Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.